Hi, I'm Dr. Diane Lass. I'm a clinical psychologist. I have a private practice, Hope and Strength Psychological Services, and a nonprofit, Center for Hope and Strength. The reason for this channel is we're talking about life transitions, the transitions that we choose and those ones that are placed upon us. Last time we were talking about, or I was talking about, the remodel in my backyard. After my husband died, I decided that I wanted to do a remodel, and it was overwhelming. It was very stressful, but it was also very empowered. It made me feel good about it, and it helped me to decide who I was and what I wanted. So in the last one that I was talking about, I mentioned that I had got a Traeger, and so meet my Traeger. So this one is all about the Traeger. So in the past, I have been that I had it in my mind, and maybe it was my experience, that men were the ones that were supposed to grill, to barbecue. Men were supposed to barbecue, and men were supposed to take out the trash. But my trash, I got settled because my neighbor, God bless him, has taken my trash cans out for me for the last 11 years. But the barbecuing part, even when I was thinking, okay, what would I want in a relationship? Somebody who barbecues. Well, that didn't happen. So I had to figure out, okay, how do I make this happen for myself? So I bought myself the Traeger. And I was completely overwhelmed when I got it. The UPS guy shows up with this great big giant box, 250 pounds, and I had somebody put it together for me. I went through the whole process. I got the Wi-Fi hooked up, I seasoned it and everything, and I felt really good about myself. So I'm like, okay, so what am I gonna cook? And it was during the pandemic, so I Instacarted a turkey. I've always wanted to smoke a turkey. I love the smell. So I get a turkey, shows up 20 pounds. Like, really? But I got it. I was stressful. It was so stressful for me, but I put it on there and it actually turned out pretty good. But then I fast forward a little while. I was having some friends and family come over, and I was going to do a bunch of baby back ribs. And I go to start it, and it's not starting. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do with this? I was just like, instantly, I'm like, I shouldn't have to do this. This is not my job. My husband should be here. He should be doing this. But I had to calm myself down and figure out, okay, what am I going to do? Because I can't throw it over the cliff, and there's no one else here to do anything about it. So I call up Traeger, and they were very helpful. End result is what I ended up doing. I had to take all of the pellets out of the hopper here. Around at the bottom there, some kind of like sawdust kind of stuff got packed in around the auger. And so I vacuumed it out. Then you watch the auger. Does the auger go? Yeah, it was moving slowly. That's good. I vacuum out the fire pot, which I had already done. Put the pellets back on, hit ignite, nothing. It wasn't doing it. It wasn't igniting. So I thought to myself, you know what, I can't throw it over the cliff, so I'll try priming the auger. I primed the auger, and bingo, it was fixed. And it's like, I felt so happy. I should actually be working for Traeger, I believe. But anyway, so in that whole experience, I was feeling really frustrated. I shouldn't have to do this. This is someone else that should be doing this. But then I had to flip it into, you know what? I love my Traeger, and I want to do this. So there's a difference it's what is called the external locus of control and internal locus of control. So if it's external locus of control, the fact that I shouldn't have to do this is something that is out of my control. And so I feel frustrated and irritated. But if I flip it into, I want to do this, I wanted this Traeger, and I want to learn how to do it, then that's internal validation. And so I take responsibility for that, and it makes me feel happy, it makes me feel empowered and better about myself, which is similar to when I had all of my backyard done. I had the furniture, everything else. I buy all these covers to put over everything, including my Traeger, and but it's kind of an irritant. It's like when I go to use everything, it's like I have to take the covers off, I have to put them back on, and I can be sitting in my house, look outside, and it's like, oh, I should be putting those covers back on, and the feeling of, oh, but I don't want to. But there's the have to and you get to. So if it's the same thing, if you pull it back into, instead of feeling like I have to do this, I get to do it. I should put those covers on, which is another example of the external versus control, and internal versus control. So you go back to the shoulds. I should be putting those covers on. No, I want to. I want to put those covers on because I bought this stuff. I arranged it the way it is. I like it and I want to take good care of it. And so I want to do it. And it's not that I have to do it. I get to do it. I get to enjoy this, and then I get to cover it back up. So it's all about perspective. So whether it is that you should, you have to, or want and get to. So it's all the way you look at about it. So anyway, so back to my Traeger. There I see like most days I see 8 to 9 clients a day, back to back. I'm dealing with clients that are struggling with a lot of issues and deep issues. My kids said to me when I was going to school, they said, my mom went to school for 10 years to learn how to say, how does that make you feel? Not exactly, because it's not that we're just chit-chatting. It's like I have to listen to what's going on with them, and I have to listen to it, integrate it, analyze it, and then put it back out, redirect, or meet them wherever they are. So it's all time consuming. So once I'm done with my day, it's like, what am I gonna do for me, for my self-care? Because self-care is so incredibly important. We have to give that time to ourselves. So what do? I come outside and I come out to my Traeger, I flip the switch, I push the button, hit ignite, hopefully it starts, hit ignite, and then it's just like, you hear that after it ignites, you hear just like the roar of it, you smell it, and it's like all of a sudden it's like music. It's like the heavens open up and everything is just as it should be. And and part of the reason why it's interesting though. But when I think about it, I think about how it is that I can be in a state where it's like it's so intense, and then I come out here, and it isn't interesting what it is that self-care for me is something that is low and slow. That it's I put the meat on, and I put the probe on, and I walk away from it, and I can come out and smell it. I can check on it and all that. But it's like I just get to enjoy. And the other thing is that it's like with the part of what I really enjoy about the Traeger and my self-care is that I'm cooking, and it's like a sense of community. I can cook for the people that I care about, and it just makes me feel good. And I'm on all kinds of Facebooks and everything else, and so people go back and forth, and they do recipes, everything else, and so that what it was that they did, what they didn't do, recommendations, all those kind of things. And so, which kind of brings me back for the reason why I did this channel. It's because I wanted to have that sense of community, people to come together, talk about different things. It's like we're talking about, it's not the Traeger we're talking about, but we're talking about life transformations, and the ones we choose, the ones that we don't. It's like transformations, we all got them, we all want them, but what do we do with them, right? So what is it that you do for self-care? You know, oftentimes what happens is that we feel like if we're doing things for self-care that we're being selfish. But we have to map out that time, schedule in that time for self-care. It's important. And it's good for other people in your family to recognize that you're important, that you're doing the things that are good for you. But oftentimes what happens is when we're practicing self-care, we feel as though we're being selfish. And you have to remember, selfish people don't feel selfish. So one thing I would think about doing is, or an exercise on this one, I would make a list of what it is that you do or want to do for self-care. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It isn't, oh, did you see the smoke going by her? It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It's whatever it is that makes you happy. Maybe it's sitting in a room and looking at the walls or something, meditating, going to the beach, going to lunch with a girlfriend. It doesn't matter, but whatever it is that makes you happy. So the other thing is when you start mapping out time for yourself, for self-care, it throws everything off many times. It's like you got this wheel going around and you take a little piece out of it and it just kind of clunks around until you get it back into rhythm again, because it throws other people off. Oftentimes we are very much people pleasers, so what we end up doing is that we feel guilty, we don't want to do these things, and other people get used to us doing the things that we do. And unless we set those limits, that's just taken for granted. That's what we do instead. And so we have to set boundaries with other people. But boundaries, maybe that's something that we're going to talk about next time, because boundaries are very important. Set those limits with other people and take care of what you need to take care of. So, are you ready? Now it's like a treat. But before I show you the treat, I want to tell you that when I got my Traeger, mine is an 885 and I love it. It's like gorgeous, right? But the thing is that as soon as I got it and I really got into it, I thought that I should have got a 1300, but stay tuned, might happen. Anyway, all right, so now for the real treat, I'm going to show you a brisket that I put on this morning, and it's going to cook all night, 15 pounds. It's going to cook all night long, and then tomorrow I'll take it out when it's the right temperature, put it in a cooler, all wrapped up in towels for a while, and then serve some people that I absolutely love. So thank you for joining us, and here's the treat. Hang on, ready? And make sure you smell it, okay? Yum, yum, yum. I may as well put the probe in while we have it open. Ooh. There we go. All right. Yep. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and I'll look forward to meeting you next time, and thank you for spending some time with me and my